Freedom of religion, the League of Nations, and Dawn of the Dead are all on this day. Welcome back to On This Day. Today's date is April 20th, 2022. It is the 110th day of the year. There are 255 days left. It is the 16th Wednesday in the 17th week and the 32nd day of spring. If today's your birthday, you're a Taurus. Finally, we switch gears here and move on to Taurus, which is the sign of the bull, in case you don't know. Today is National Chinese Language Day. From their website, through the development of language, the human race made achievements in culture and civilization. On April 20th, explore the progress the written and spoken word have made through the observance of the Chinese Language Day. Like most languages, Chinese has a diverse collection of dialects that add to the depth of the character of the language. Of the 7 major modern dialects of Chinese, Mandarin is the most widely spoken. Language plays a dynamic role in the culture and history, and it records our achievements. At 6,000 years old, the Chinese language is the oldest written language in the world. All right, let's see what else April 20th has given us. 1496. After his return from the New World, Christopher Columbus enters the court of his sponsors, King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella. For more than an hour, the sovereigns besiege the seaman with questions about the New World. And he answers the question that no, the world in fact is not flat. That was one of those stories they told us as a kid, that he proved the world was round and all this other stuff. They already knew it was round. Aristotle proved it many years before he decided to jump on a boat and start checking out the earth. I mean, in 1492, they already had globes, okay? So they had a clue that the earth was round. 1657, freedom of religion is granted to the Jews of New Amsterdam, which later becomes known as New York City. Yeah, it was illegal for them to actually worship at the time in New Amsterdam. There's a lot of basement temples going on, if you know what I mean. 1775, the American Revolutionary War. The Siege of Boston begins following the battles of Lexington and Concord. So this one sort of starts the day before on the 19th, where they had some skirmishes with the British and the Massachusetts militia. But on the 20th, they dug in for the siege on the city. This siege lasted 10 months, 3 weeks, and 6 days. Part of this siege included the Battle of Bunker Hill, where over 400 were killed or wounded for the colonials. The British had 1,150 killed or wounded. The rest of the siege, they lost about 60 more. The colonials lost about 19 more during the siege. 1789, George Washington arrives at Gray's Ferry, Philadelphia, while en route to Manhattan for his inauguration. Yes, he was inaugurated in New York City, not in Washington, D.C. or Philadelphia or anything like that. 1836, the U.S. Congress passes an act creating the Wisconsin Territory. The Wisconsin Territory back then was parts of Wisconsin, Minnesota, North Dakota, and South Dakota. There was also a little area from about Duluth to south of Thunder Bay, Ontario, that was disputed. It was called Rupert's Land, and it was owned by the British. A lot of people don't realize there was a whole lot of territories, not just the Louisiana Territory. There's the Wisconsin Territory, the Minnesota Territory. At the time of the Wisconsin Territory formation, there was already the Michigan Territory. They also had the Florida Territory. All these territories eventually get split up and turned into different states. 1861, Thaddeus S.C. Lowe, attempting to display the value of balloons, makes a record journey flying 900 miles from Cincinnati to South Carolina. 1902, Pierre and Marie Curie refine radium chloride. If you don't know what that means, let me explain. Radium's main practical use has been in medicine, producing radon gas from radium chloride to be used in radiotherapy for cancer treatments. Most uses for radium have been replaced by other radioactive materials or radiation-generating devices. It's still used in some applications, like industrial radiography, but not really as big a deal as it used to be. 1946, the League of Nations officially dissolves, giving most of its powers to the United Nations. 1999, we talked about this a couple of years ago, but it should be mentioned just in case people think I skipped it, because it was a major event. Columbine High School Massacre happened. 2 idiots killed 13 people and injured 24 others before committing suicide at Columbine High School in Columbine, Colorado. This was like the first one, and it still goes on. There's like a high school shooter every single year, or whatever school. I mean, it's just a sickening part of what's going on in this country. If you got to worry your kids are going to be shot at school, there's something going terribly wrong. 2021, the state of Minnesota versus Derek Michael Chauvin. Derek Chauvin is found guilty of all charges in the murder of George Floyd by the 4th Judicial District Court of Minnesota. This turned into a frickin' nightmare. I mean, it's only been a year since all this went on. Well, 2 years since George Floyd's death, but just what a disaster for the country. I mean, the whole thing, not just the man being, killed or it was a police officer, none of that stuff, just the whole thing. I mean, the riots, the protests, just horrible. Movies released on April 20th, 1979, Dawn of the Dead. George A. Romero directed this independent zombie film written and collaborated with Dario Argento about a group of survivors who hide out in a secluded shopping mall following an epidemic of zombies. And it's pretty cool. It's pretty scary. I mean, this is one of the first real zombie movies, and it was pretty scary. I mean, there was a few other zombie movies before this one, but I mean, actually, George A. Romero did Night of the Living Dead in 1968, but this one kind of put it really on the map as a genre. I mean, one of the first ones that I ever remember seeing, I mean, it was done before I was born, but The Last Man on Earth, which was made in 1964, had Vincent Price starred in it. And it was based off a novel, 1954 novel called I Am Legend by Richard Matheson, who eventually, that was again turned into a movie with the Oscar slap-in Will Smith called I Am Legend. But Dawn of the Dead was remade in 2004, and that one's pretty good. Born on April 20th, 1964, Andy Circus. He's a British actor known for his work as Gollum in the Lord of the Rings films. He was also Caesar in the Planet of the Apes trilogy, the newer ones, not the old ones. He's also been in Peter Jackson's King Kong. Peter Jackson did Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit and all that. He was in Black Panther. He's been in all kinds of things. If you ever see him do an interview, his normal speaking voice is amazing. He's British. He's got this deep DJ type voice. Great voice. He's also been in a lot of the Star Wars movies as Supreme Leader Snoke. Just a great, in my opinion, underappreciated actor. He was born on this day, 1964, in Middlesex, England. Died on April 20th, 2021, Les Mcewen, Scottish singer best known as the singer of the popular band The Bay City Rollers. He was born at the Simpson Memorial Maternity Hospital in Edinburgh, Scotland, and first joined the Bay City Rollers in 1973. The Bay City Rollers started in the mid-60s, and he had a couple different stints with them, starting off in the 70s, and then again in the late 80s, and then late 90s. He joined them back for a couple more years, and his last stretch with them was from 2014 to 2017. Sadly, he suffered from all kinds of addiction problems over the years, like so many musicians do, and kind of publicly. He went on some show called Rehab, where he just spilled the beans on everything, including being unfaithful with both men and women to his wife, who he had been with since the late 70s. Mcewen died after going into cardiac arrest at his home in London on April 20th, 2021. He was 65 years old. The coroner later reported that Mcewen's death was a combination of natural causes, cardiovascular disease, hypertension, at least partially stemming from years of drug and alcohol abuse. All right. That's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Now go out, have a productive day, and be nice to each other.